Now let's finish out the geometry for the subframe. So we've got now the spline cage built, just using the techniques that we talked about in several previous lessons as far as creating the outer part and then coming in and refining that with some other splines. And so you can take a look at the one that I've got. Yours doesn't have to match up exactly, but it's got kind of the main contours that we want to have here. So let's go ahead and now add some geometry to this just by selecting this and adding a surface modifier. So we'll go all the way down here and add surface. Go ahead and flip the normals, and I'm going to leave the patch topology steps at 0 because I'm going to convert this to a polygon. So I'll go ahead and collapse this stack, convert this to an editable poly. And now at this stage, I want to go ahead and add some hardness to some of these edges, and we can do this in several different ways. Go to Edge Geometry, Cut, and we can manually come in and add a few lines in here wherever we want this to be a little bit harder edged. You can go ahead and go to an edge selection, come in, and we can hold down Control and just select that ring in a specific direction. Okay, so let's say we want to go ahead and select that all the way down there, and then we can do a connect and slide that up against there. Okay, and then we could finish that out just using the cut right up in there. And if you want to, you can go ahead and delete that point right there. Maybe move this over a bit. Okay, and then we can also add a little bit of hardness maybe to this edge here. So we can go ahead and take one of these edges, go ahead and pull that down to right about there, and then do a connect on that as well, and then clean that up using our cut once again. So here, I'm going to go ahead and dial this right in here and then end it right down at that point. And then up here, we'll just go ahead and cut this off right here. Alright, so you can go ahead and check that and see if that looks a little bit better when you smooth it. Go down to the subdivision surface and set that to iterations of 2. And then you can check that and see if it looks okay. Alright, so now that we've got this sort of figured out, let's go ahead and now add some thickness to this. Okay, so there are several ways that we can do this. I'm going to go ahead and select the border edge. Just select that border. Okay, and I'm just going to hold down Shift and just push it back. Okay, to add a little bit of thickness to that. Okay, we're not going to have the other side, but that's okay. You could also add a shell modifier if you wanted to do that as well. Okay, and then if you want to come in and do the same thing on the center, yeah, you want to go ahead and just pull that in as well. Now we want to add a little bit of resolution inside here to go ahead and add that extra piece. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that entire ring and just to connect. And then we want to have a little lip, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that forward just a little bit, something like that. And now we need to have this match up from side to side. Okay, so what we need to do is just move this line over basically. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of these edges, connect, and just pull that in line with this guy right down here. Say OK to that. Then we can go ahead and select this entire loop, hold down Control, hit backspace to get rid of that. And now we can come in and start to bridge across these. So I'm going to select this face, this polygon, and then these polygons. Let's go ahead and do bridge for that. And if it's twisted, you can go ahead and modify your twist a little bit. And we'll say OK to that. And now I need to fill in this back here. So another way that we can do that is just to select these polygons, all of these guys. Okay, and then we go in and select that border right here and go ahead and cap it. Okay, since we don't have a back here, we don't really need to worry about the back as much. Alright, so let's go ahead and now select this entire ring, and then we'll add a little bit of geometry in here. Take our segments to 2 and then pinch that out to the ends. Okay, let's go ahead and add some geometry in here to tighten that up. Do the same thing, I'll pull that in just a little bit. And then we can go ahead and check that again. And the outside's getting a little bit soft at this point. So we want to go ahead and add some extra resolution out here. So go ahead and take this whole ring, you connect, and this time we only need one segment, and we'll slide that out towards the top there to make that a little bit tighter. Okay, so there we've got a little bit of geometry for our subframe, which has kind of got some complex curves going into one another, just made very quickly with splines and then converted to polygons. Alright, so now that we've got our subframe built, the next thing that we can do is work on the swing arm frame. So kind of this frame right down here, this piece. And this is actually going to be a little bit more complex than some of the other pieces. So we'll go ahead and start to do that in the next lesson.